I think the slaughter of the Canaanites is a myth that finds its way into the Hebrew Bible from two Greek source myths, the War of the Giants and Theoxeny. If you need to get up to speed, you can check out part 1 and my other previous videos on these particular subjects. All these videos are linked in the description. If you're ready, let's jump right in. This is not a religious channel, but it's not a religious channel. In Judges chapter 20, the other tribes unite against the tribe of Benjamin, and after a series of failed attacks, they succeed in ambushing the Benjamites. We later see how the other tribes had sworn together not to intermarry with the Benjamites, similar to prohibitions against intermarriage with the Canaanites. Let's focus on Judges 20:39, which will connect us to the next stage of the development of the mythology. The Benjamites had begun to inflict casualties on the Israelites, about 30, and they said, "We are defeating them as in the first battle." But when the column of smoke began to rise from the city, the Benjamites turned and saw the whole city going up in smoke. This connects us to the destruction of Ai in Joshua 8. Ai? Ai? How is this pronounced? I'd always heard Ai growing up, but you can't say AI anymore because that means something different now. Maybe I'll just go with the Spanish pronunciation. Ai! The children of Israel had failed to conquer Ai because of the sin of Achan and were seemingly defeated just because the men of Ai killed about 36 of them. It says about, but to me, 36 seems to be a very precise number. I can't help but think that this inversion is an attempt at humor. Anyway, starting at Joshua 8:18, "Then the Lord said to Joshua, Hold out toward Ai the javelin that is in your hand, for into your hands I will deliver the city." The men of Ai looked back and saw the smoke of the city rising up into the sky, but they had no chance to escape in any direction. 12,000 men and women fell that day, all the people of Ai. For Joshua did not draw back the hand that held out his javelin until he had destroyed all who lived in Ai. Now, in this ambush, the element of Joshua's javelin is introduced as the signal to attack, which Joshua holds up until the end of the battle, although notice that there's no supernatural reason for that action in this case. For some reason, I'll just note that this is omitted from the Septuagint. This detail links us to the next stage of the myth development, which is a more familiar Sunday school-friendly Bible story found in Exodus 17. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hands." So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning, but whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side, one on the other, so that his hands remained steady till sunset. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this on a scroll as something to be remembered, and make sure that Joshua hears it, because I will completely blot out the name of Amalek from under heaven." Moses built an altar and called it, "The Lord is my banner." He said, "Because hands were lifted up against the throne of the Lord will be at war against the Amalekites from generation to generation." At the end of this passage, we see one of the signature tells of myth creation, in which a figurative utterance about lifting hands has been literalized into the preceding narrative. Many times when you see a statement or a poem like this inserted into the text, the preceding or following narrative is usually formed from it. Now, one of the most peculiar things is that this passage doesn't actually seem to belong here, almost as if it migrated from somewhere else in the text. For starters, this is the first appearance of both Joshua and Hur in the entire Bible, but they're not introduced with any of the typical identifiers or lineage descriptors that we later see. Hur isn't properly introduced until Exodus 31. For Joshua, his next appearance in Exodus 24 identifies him as Moses' aide, and eventually his last appearance in the Exodus refers to him as Moses' young aide, Joshua, son of Nun. His first appearance and subsequent books all give proper introductions like that. So this pericope seems to have come from another point in the tradition where Joshua is already an established character. Second, the Amalekites aren't even mentioned in the book of Joshua at all. This seems like a strange omission when you see that Moses specifically left a note for Joshua about this. This suggests some form of textual tampering to me. This passage in Exodus 17 is where we start to see the evolution of the idea of an ethnic cleansing of the Canaanites, but the text doesn't seem sure what it wants to be yet. On one hand, it says the gods will blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven, but it also says they will be at war against the Amalekites from generation to generation, which is essentially a biblical way of saying forever in every other occurrence. It's not until much later, during the monarchy, that we see this realized to mean total destruction of men, women, children, and livestock in 1 Samuel 15. But this is where we see the collision of the Gigantomachy, or the War of Giants, and Theoxeny, the hospitality narrative. The total destruction originates from the zero-sum war between the gods and the giants. It repeats in mythic cycles with the flood and Sodom until the role of the Nephilim gets transferred to the Canaanites. But if there's a real-world basis for any of this, then it comes from the memory of the near destruction of the Benjamites, which supplies the prohibition on intermarriage. And there you have it. The ethnic cleansing of the Holy Land is just a literary fiction that can really be traced back to a minor intertribal conflict that was embellished and mythologized beyond recognition. To be clear, this is not an apologetic argument, because even if it didn't literally happen, the ethics of a holy god commanding the genocide of an entire people, including their children and animals, is still utterly indefensible. So what do you think? I hope this was informative, even if you don't agree with it.